What if the strongest, healthiest-looking person in the room was actually carrying a hidden threat inside their chest? Imagine running a 10K, going to the gym every week, eating reasonably well, and feeling absolutely fantastic, yet a deadly blockage is silently growing inside one of your heart's most important arteries. It sounds impossible, but it happens every day. One of the biggest myths about heart disease is that your body will always warn you before something goes wrong. In reality, the heart can hide serious problems for years, even decades, without causing a single symptom. Many people who suffer a heart attack never saw it coming because they felt perfectly healthy right up until the moment their lives changed forever. So how can a dangerous blockage grow unnoticed? Why does the body allow these silent threats to develop? And most importantly, is there a way to detect them before it's too late? In this video, we'll uncover the surprising science behind hidden heart disease, explain why healthy people can still suffer heart attacks, and reveal the most effective ways to protect your heart before disaster strikes. To understand how a seemingly healthy heart can suddenly fail, we first need to look at how the heart keeps itself alive. Although the heart pumps blood to the entire body, it cannot absorb oxygen directly from the blood flowing through its chambers. Instead, it depends on its own dedicated fuel supply, the coronary arteries. These vessels wrap around the surface of the heart like the roots of a tree, constantly delivering oxygen and nutrients to the hard-working heart muscle. Every beat, every step, and every breath depends on this system functioning perfectly. Among these arteries, one vessel stands out for its importance, the left anterior descending artery, or LAD. This artery supplies blood to a large portion of the left ventricle, the heart's main pumping chamber responsible for sending oxygen-rich blood throughout the body. Because so much heart muscle depends on it, doctors often refer to the LAD as the Widowmaker. The nickname reflects the devastating consequences of a major blockage in this artery. If blood flow through the LAD is suddenly cut off, a massive portion of the heart can be deprived of oxygen within minutes, causing severe damage or even sudden death. Understanding this critical blood supply system is the first step in understanding why heart disease can be so dangerous, even in people who appear perfectly healthy. The story of heart disease often begins decades before the first symptom appears. At the center of this process is the inner lining of the artery, known as the endothelium. In a healthy artery, this surface is smooth and slippery, allowing blood to flow freely with almost no resistance. But over time, factors such as high blood pressure, elevated blood sugar, smoking, chronic inflammation, and even years of mechanical stress can cause tiny injuries to this delicate lining. These microscopic areas of damage may seem insignificant, but they create the perfect environment for a dangerous process to begin. When the artery wall is injured, LDL cholesterol, often called bad cholesterol, can slip beneath the surface and become trapped. The immune system recognizes this buildup and sends white blood cells to investigate. These cells attempt to absorb the cholesterol, but as they become overloaded, they transform into what scientists call foam cells. Instead of solving the problem, foam cells accumulate within the artery wall, creating fatty streaks that gradually grow larger over time. As years pass, the body continues trying to repair the damage. More cholesterol, immune cells, and cellular debris collect in the same location. Eventually, calcium begins to accumulate within the growing deposit, making it harder and more complex. This process, known as calcification, is the body's attempt to stabilize the area, but it also contributes to the development of atherosclerosis. What started as a tiny injury has now become a plaque, a mixture of cholesterol, foam cells, calcium, and scar tissue embedded within the artery wall. The danger is that this process develops silently. A person may feel completely healthy while plaque slowly grows year after year. By the time significant disease is present, the foundations may have been forming for decades. Understanding how plaque develops is essential because it reveals why heart disease is often called a silent killer and why prevention must begin long before symptoms appear. One of the most surprising facts about heart disease is that a person can have severe plaque buildup and still experience absolutely no symptoms. This seems impossible at first. After all, if an artery is becoming blocked, shouldn't blood flow decrease and trigger warning signs? In many cases, the answer is no, thanks to a remarkable process known as positive remodeling. As plaque begins to accumulate inside the artery wall, the body does something unexpected. Instead of allowing the growing plaque to immediately narrow the channel where blood flows, the outer wall of the artery expands outward. Imagine a tree growing around an object embedded in its trunk. The obstruction becomes larger, but the central pathway remains open. In the same way, the artery stretches to make room for the plaque while preserving normal blood flow through its center. This adaptation can continue for years or even decades. During this time, a person may exercise regularly, climb stairs, run long distances, and perform all normal daily activities without any indication that a dangerous process is developing beneath the surface. The heart continues receiving enough oxygen, and standard physical performance often remains completely normal. From the outside, everything appears healthy. This is what makes heart disease so deceptive. The absence of symptoms does not necessarily mean the absence of disease. In fact, some individuals may carry large amounts of plaque while feeling stronger than ever. The body's ability to compensate is extraordinary, but it can also create a false sense of security. By the time symptoms finally appear, the disease may already be advanced. Understanding positive remodeling helps explain why many heart attacks seem to occur out of nowhere, and why relying solely on how you feel can be a dangerous mistake when it comes to heart health. For many years, a plaque inside an artery may remain silent and relatively stable, but the real danger often begins when that plaque suddenly ruptures. To understand this, imagine a blister forming beneath the skin. As long as the outer layer remains intact, the contents stay contained. However, if the blister breaks open, the body immediately reacts to repair the damage. A similar process can occur inside the coronary arteries. Many plaques contain a soft, fatty core made up of cholesterol, inflammatory cells, and cellular debris. Covering this material is a thin protective layer known as the fibrous cap. In some cases, stress, inflammation, high blood pressure, or sudden physical exertion can cause this cap to tear. This event is called plaque rupture. When the rupture occurs, the inner contents of the plaque are suddenly exposed to the bloodstream. The body interprets this exposure as an injury and responds exactly as it would to a cut on the skin. Platelets rush to the area and begin forming a blood clot. While this response is designed to prevent bleeding, it can become extremely dangerous inside a coronary artery. Within minutes, the clot may grow larger and larger until it completely blocks the vessel. Blood can no longer reach the heart muscle beyond the obstruction. Without oxygen, heart muscle cells begin to die rapidly. This is known as a type 1 myocardial infarction, or the classic form of a heart attack. The tragedy is that the artery may not have been severely narrowed beforehand. A relatively small but unstable plaque can rupture unexpectedly and trigger a life-threatening event. This is why some heart attacks seem to strike without warning, and why plaque stability is often more important than plaque size alone. Not every heart attack happens because an artery suddenly becomes completely blocked. In some cases, a person can suffer serious heart muscle damage even when blood is still flowing through the coronary arteries. This condition is known as a type 2 myocardial infarction, and it occurs when the heart's demand for oxygen exceeds the amount of oxygen the blood supply can provide. Think of it like a garden hose watering a lawn. Under normal conditions, even a partially narrowed hose can deliver enough water to keep the grass healthy. But if the demand suddenly increases, the limited flow may no longer be sufficient. The same principle applies to the heart. A person may have a moderate blockage of only 40 to 50% and feel perfectly normal while resting. However, during intense physical activity, the heart begins working much harder and requires significantly more oxygen. Imagine a dedicated runner participating in a race. As heart rate and blood pressure rise, the heart muscle demands a massive increase in blood flow. If the arteries cannot deliver enough oxygen to meet that demand, portions of the heart muscle begin to suffer from ischemia, a condition in which tissue is deprived of adequate oxygen. If the imbalance continues long enough, heart cells can become damaged and die, resulting in a type 2 heart attack. This example highlights an important fact. Heart attacks are not always caused by a complete blockage. Sometimes the problem is simply that the heart needs more oxygen than the circulation can provide. Another factor that can significantly increase the risk of a heart attack is atrial fibrillation, often called AFib. Under normal conditions, the heart follows a precise electrical rhythm that allows its chambers to contract in a coordinated and efficient manner. In AFib, this rhythm becomes chaotic. Instead of beating in sync, the upper chambers of the heart begin to quiver rapidly and irregularly. This loss of coordination reduces the heart's efficiency and can force it to work harder to maintain blood flow. As the heart rate rises, the heart muscle requires more oxygen to sustain its activity. At the same time, the shortened filling time between beats can reduce the amount of blood reaching the heart itself. For someone who already has a narrowed coronary artery, this creates a dangerous imbalance. Oxygen demand increases, while oxygen supply becomes more limited. The result can be worsening ischemia and, in some cases, a heart attack. AFib alone may not cause a heart attack, but combined with underlying coronary disease, it can create the perfect conditions for serious cardiac injury. One of the most important ways to improve survival during a heart attack is recognizing the warning signs early. The challenge is that symptoms do not always look the same for everyone. In men, the classic signs are often dramatic and easy to recognize. Many experience a heavy pressure, squeezing sensation, or pain in the center of the chest that may spread to the left arm, shoulder, neck, jaw, or back. These symptoms are frequently portrayed in movies and television, making them familiar to many people. Women, however, often experience a very different pattern. Instead of severe chest pain, they may develop unusual fatigue, shortness of breath, nausea, dizziness, or discomfort that feels more like indigestion or acid reflux. Because these symptoms can seem unrelated to the heart, they are sometimes dismissed or mistaken for less serious conditions. This delay can be dangerous because every minute counts during a heart attack. The key lesson is simple. Never ignore sudden, unexplained symptoms, especially if they are new, severe, or accompanied by a sense that something is seriously wrong. Early recognition and immediate medical attention can dramatically improve outcomes. In heart emergencies, time truly is muscle, and acting quickly may save both heart tissue and lives. Despite the dangers of heart disease, the heart has a remarkable ability to adapt and protect itself. One of its most impressive survival mechanisms is collateral circulation. Think of the major coronary arteries as highways delivering oxygen-rich blood to the heart muscle. If a blockage develops slowly over many years, the body can respond by creating small alternative vessels, or detours, that bypass the narrowing. These collateral vessels may not completely replace the main artery, but they can provide enough blood flow to reduce damage during a heart attack. Exercise plays a powerful role in encouraging this process. Regular aerobic training, especially Zone 2 exercise, helps improve cardiovascular efficiency and stimulates the growth of new blood vessels over time. High-intensity interval training, or HIIT, may also enhance circulation by challenging the heart and vascular system in short bursts of intense effort. Together, these forms of exercise help strengthen the body's natural backup network. This is one reason physically active people often have better outcomes when heart problems occur. While exercise cannot eliminate all risk, it can buy valuable time by improving blood flow and increasing the heart's resilience. In emergency medicine, every minute matters. A stronger collateral network may mean more oxygen reaches the heart muscle during a crisis, increasing the chances of survival and reducing long-term damage. The most important lesson from everything we've discussed is that feeling healthy does not guarantee that your arteries are healthy. Heart disease can remain hidden for years, which is why early detection is so valuable. Fortunately, modern medicine offers powerful tools that can identify problems long before symptoms appear. One of these tools is the Coronary Artery Calcium Score, or CAC score. This quick, non-invasive scan measures calcium deposits inside the coronary arteries. A score of 0 is reassuring, while higher scores may indicate a greater burden of plaque and a higher risk of future heart problems. Another advanced test is the CT angiogram. Unlike a CAC scan, which detects hardened calcium, a CT angiogram can visualize both the arteries and softer plaques that may not yet be calcified. This makes it one of the most effective ways to identify hidden coronary disease before it causes a heart attack. Of course, screening is only part of the solution. Managing blood pressure, controlling blood sugar, staying physically active, maintaining a healthy weight, and avoiding smoking remain essential for protecting the heart. The key is not to assume you are healthy simply because you feel healthy. Real prevention begins with understanding your risk and taking action before symptoms develop. If you found this information helpful, consider discussing your heart health with your healthcare provider and asking whether additional screening may be appropriate for you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join Health Handbook Daily for more science-based health insights designed to help you live a longer, healthier life.